Let's talk about sworn statements at USCIS. Hi, I'm Jim Hacking, immigration lawyer practicing law throughout the United States out of our offices in St. Louis, San Diego, Washington, D.C., and Chicago. In today's video, we're going to talk about sworn statements at USCIS. Now, obviously, when you file any form with USCIS to obtain an immigration benefit, you are going to be doing so under penalty of perjury. In other words, you're going to swear that everything you include in the form itself and any supporting documents are true and correct to the best of your knowledge. You're not giving them bad information or false information. You're not lying. You're not misrepresenting yourself. You're just telling them the truth, and you always do that under oath. And of course, when you go to an interview for asylum or for a green card or for citizenship, again, you are placed under oath and you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. They don't really say that. They just ask you, are you going to tell the truth? And you say yes, and you swear to do so. But what we're talking about now is a sworn statement. So this is a little bit different. This is where the officer will have typed out a bunch of questions, or they might type out the questions as they go. And this is a formal process, and it's known as a sworn statement. So what happens is the officer will ask questions. The officer will write down your answers. They'll ask you the next question. They'll write down your answers. Ask you another question, write down your answer. And they'll do this. I've seen sworn statements that end up being 20 pages long. At the end of the interview, when they're done asking you their questions, you will have the opportunity to read over each page, to initial each page, to make any corrections, or to then sign it at the end of the process. Now, I have seen situations where officers have put the wrong information in a sworn statement. If that happens, you need to stick to your guns. Don't let them put words in your mouth. If they're trying to say that you said something different than what you actually said, make sure that it's clarified. So usually the officer will say, here's a pen, go ahead and mark it, and initial the edits that you made. Now, some officers will try to stick you with a bad answer. So if you do give a bad answer, it might be hard to correct it in the sworn statement. But a lot of people get anxious and nervous about sworn statements, but I've actually seen a lot of cases get approved after a sworn statement. And at first, that really confused me because I thought, like you, that if you're giving a sworn statement, you're in trouble. And you might be. You know, a lot of times they are nailing down your story because they know they have evidence in their back pocket, evidence in the system that would dispute what it is that you're saying. And so they want to lock you into a lie so that they then can prove up that you told a lie and that you misrepresented yourself in the information provided. But usually with sworn statements, I haven't seen it go that way. Usually with sworn statements, I've seen it go much the other way, where they tell you, or where they don't tell you, give us this sworn statement, and the case ends up being approved. A sworn statement is a way for the officer to cover their hiney, to cover their rear ends, to make sure that there isn't anything in your case that they didn't ask you about. If they're going to approve a tricky case, a lot of times officers will take a sworn statement in order to make sure that everyone knows these questions were asked, these answers were given. These questions were asked, these answers were given. Now, that might lead to an approval in this case, but it also might help you in subsequent cases, like if you give a sworn statement in your asylum case, as long as your green card testimony is consistent with that, you should get your green card. Same with citizenship. But if your testimony is inconsistent, or if you don't do a Freedom of Information Act request to get a copy of your sworn statement beforehand, you could have trouble. So whenever we give a sworn statement with our clients at the interview, we make sure they read every question and read every answer, make sure that everything's correct, initial each page, sign the page, and then after that, when you're done and you have given the sworn statement and it's part of the record, you want to ask the officer for a copy of your sworn statement. You are entitled to that. Do not let an officer refuse to give that to you. If they refuse to give you your sworn statement, say that you're going to refuse to sign it. If the officer gives you trouble, tell them you want to see a supervisor. You should not walk out of USCIS without a copy of any sworn statements that you give. Any attorney that you go to see after that is really going to want to see the sworn statement. So overall, if you get asked to give a sworn statement, say yes. Make sure you tell them the truth. Make sure you review the questions and listen to the questions, and make sure that your answers are typed down correctly. Make sure the whole overall document is correct, and then make sure you get a copy of the statement. You don't want to leave without it. So if you are thinking about applying for an immigration benefit and you're worried that at some point you might have to give a sworn statement, and you'd like our help representing you, give us a call, 314-961-8200. Email us info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com. If you are just looking for free information, we have a ton of it. We have our Immigrant Home Facebook group. There's 15,000 immigrants going through the immigration process, talking in there every day. We have our YouTube channel where we have over 100,000 subscribers, and that's people who sign up to get alerted whenever we post a new video like this one. We also are active on TikTok at Immigration Hacking. And finally, we do an Immigration Answers live show 3 or 4 times a week, and that's just me answering immigrants' questions for an hour, hour and a half, trying to educate the masses about how immigration in the United States really works. We'd love to have you join us there. If you want to get in the waiting room to ask me a question, you can text the word SHOW to 314-470-3300. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.